Hi there, so welcome everyone to this next episode of the Red Suit Interviews, and today we are joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Luke Amery. How are you today?
Well, Ryan, I'm awesome. It's Saturday morning here on the Gold Coast.
Are you?
You're in Brizzy, I think.
Yep,
Mate, the sun is shining. I've got coffee in my office. Life is awesome, man. Life is awesome.
that is awesome. So, I don't think I could ever really do you justice on describing your story. So, can you describe sort of what you do and how did you get to where you are now?
Yeah, so did you want me to touch base on prior to
Yes,
what
just
happened to me? Yeah,
yes.
sure, Ryan. So, look, I originally come from a open mining, open cut mining background. For those that don't know what that industry is, it's the coal industry, metal industry up in Weipa, central Queensland, even in New South Wales, Western Australia. It's a really big industry and it's in high demand. And look, and the hours are long, 80 hours a week, up to three weeks away, 2 weeks away, depending on what roster you're on. But I was initially contracted as a plant operator, which is my main responsibility was to operate the heavy dump trucks, the Tonka toys, so to speak, if you can visualize those or Google those. Um, and I would operate those in a central, in the middle of a location, resourcing coal and overburden, moving overburden, and doing that on a day-to-day basis, which I loved. Yeah.
And so, how did you get into the mining industry?
Sure, I got in because I was looking for a change. I was in finance prior to that, family business, and helping my my wife's family and their business partners run that and manage that. We had different independent stores around here on the Gold Coast and Brisbane. But I was in there for a couple of years, and I was a lot younger then, of course, and I was a little bit hungry. I
Yeah.
wanted to get out, and I wanted to explore a little bit of Australia, do something different before, the time was sort of going to pass, so to speak. So my brother said, why don't you sort of start looking at the mining industry? And I did. I had a look around and applied for numerous roles, did multiple courses and inductions, but the thing that was coming up for me was I had a lot of people saying that you won't be able to get in, you won't be able to change, and that for me it just sets me on fire because I don't like to be proven.
Mm.
Not that I don't like to be proven wrong, but I like to say, well, okay, well, just watch me. Not being egotistical, arrogant, but I like to say, you know what? People saying no for a reason. That might be their fear, or they think that I can't do it. But I'd like to keep going, keep doing it. So I did. I got this lucky break and went up to top of Cape York, Weipa, and worked up there for a good, I think, 8 weeks, 3 months, so to speak. And then I literally applied for another job. I had a day off up there. Like you get one day off, um, and if you can picture Weipa, it's a very uh, off course located um,
Hmm.
Aboriginal culture sort of town, history. So I'm literally applying for other jobs on my birthday up there. Um, in the mining camp and free Wi-Fi, of course, and I just see this job pop up, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll apply for it." And literally, that week, I got another interview, got booked in for another flight to fly out, and then I went to Emerald. Yeah, and then the rest is history. Yeah.
Yeah. See, then you just worked in this new job.
Yeah, I worked in the. I got another contract. There was a major flood in Emerald, or not even just Queensland, really. But what happened was a town, Central Highlands town called Emerald, and the regions of Rockhampton and Baralaba and things like that. They got severely impacted by the deluge of the
Hmm.
rain, and I don't know if you're free to look it up, but it was like there was like a mining the mine had flooded in Ensham. It's called Ensham Resources.
Okay.
There was like a drag line sticking out of the pit, and just literally just water everywhere. So got contracted to go out there and actually build all the levee banks around the whole mine, and their vision is to sort of go from open cut mining to underground, so to speak. So we set up all the levee banks, which started to be about 4 month project. That was the vision, but then it just blew out and went into 4 years. So
Well,
uh, yeah, literally, yeah, there's like one job after another. So truly grateful for that, and I just learned so much while I was there, and just soaked up every moment that I could. Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
yeah,
And so, obviously, there was a moment what's changed your life.
yeah.
It's the elephant in the room, I guess. And
That's right. That's
so, what what happened on the day when you found out that
mm.
just everything was going to change?
Yeah. Well, sure. Uh, the day that I had been sort of diagnosed with my health issue, which was a brain tumor. Um, it's a bit of a surreal moment, and I get impacted every time I watch a video about it, or things like that. But yeah, literally, it sort of it settled me for a little while. I sort of knew what what was causing the problem, but also it impacted not just me and my family. It just blew everything out of the water, because being diagnosed with such a rare type of tumor, and it's in the brain as well, not just in your lungs or in your shoulder. It's quite impacting, and I knew from then on it was going to change my world, and I didn't know how or where it was going to go. It was still early days. Yeah,
So
yeah,
how did they let you know that you had this brain
mm.
tumor? It's sort of
Yeah, sure, yeah.
because it's sort of just it's such a bizarre thing. It's that you're facing almost your own mortality with that. And how did they approach you with that?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good question. It took about 3 times to identify what the cause of my symptoms were, and my symptoms were unable to walk in a straight line. My vision was blurred. Um, couldn't hear properly, of course, and I could still drive. That was okay. I could still walk, but I had to hold on to things. So the first hospital visit was okay. Look, we'll have a look. We'll see what it is. But it was more like, okay, you've got a bit of a flu. You've got a bit of a bug. We'll just pump you full of fluids, and then send you home. Second day, come in, same thing again, because I had the symptoms come up, of vomiting, not able to eat, not able to sleep, very tired, and then literally the same result again was pump you full of fluids, nothing's wrong. Yeah, we'll send you home. Third and final time, in again, same results, vomiting, throwing up, couldn't hold any food down. But this time I was like, okay, well, you've been in 3 times. 3 times. This is your third time. There's got to be something going on. So we did a blood test, and I thought, because cancer travel, different cancers or different things travel around the body. Um, nothing showed up. So they're all a little bit, oh, okay, what do we do now? Like even the doctor's
Mm.
like, oh my God, what do we do now? We don't know what it is. Then I suggested a CAT scan or a CT scan, and they said, yeah, good idea, let's do that. And they said, well, that's the only thing we've got, or it's an MRI, which couldn't do it till the next day. So go in, have an MRI, a CAT scan, so to speak, and then they said to me, they said, don't look at the screen as you actually walk out because, we don't want you to, sort of thing. But that's not me. So, so I had the scan, and I had a gut feeling, I had a real, that feeling inside me that, okay, I think this is something,
Yeah.
something inside me it was like a calm feeling, but like sort of excited, if that makes sense.
Sort of like you
Um,
knew what was happening, and
I,
you just wanted it to be out in the air because you were going through all this
yeah,
stuff and you didn't know, it was never told what it was, but now you actually can actually pinpoint what it was. Also.
that is exactly right.
Mm.
That is exactly right because I was so excited. I had a gut feeling. I was like, I'm pretty sure this is what it is. I
Mm.
really, And then I was like, okay, well let's just do this scan. And as I walk out, I look to my right, and it's like an old LCD monitor. I look at it, and here's my scans has popped up, and a little golf ball shadow
Wow.
um, on the screen. So I'm walking out, and you know what? I was calm. I was really calm. I don't know why,
Mm.
but I just was because I knew in my head and my gut feeling was right. Is that okay? Well, this is what it is. Now I know what the problem is. I know how to sort of fix it.
Mm.
How to solve it. Yeah. Interesting times.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
and was initially were you told that like this is we can this will be able to be fixed or you'll feel better or anything, or were they told like we don't know how this will go, or was it were they nervous for you, or they because like obviously with every cancer there's always the risk of getting worse and whatnot, and there's
Sure.
always the risk or also the benefit that there's always a chance that you'll survive. But with
Mm.
you, were you told from the start like this will be terminal, or were they like oh no it's fine, or
Yeah. Well, it's. Yeah. I went back to my bed and I'd waited for the results, even though I sort of knew what they were. And there was a guy across from me in his bed, and he just had his meeting with his doctor, and he wasn't quite happy, uh, grumpy, shitty, sort of thing. And I literally just I reassured him. I said, mate, you're going to be okay. It's all right. I'm just having a really bad day. And I said, oh, look, I understand that. It's all good. And so he calmed down a little bit. And the sun's just starting to set in the afternoon. So I was on the western side of the hospital.
mm.
So it was getting nice and warm. Um, and then the doctor sort of comes in. Are you Luke Amery? I said, yeah, I am. And he just draws the curtains. And when they draw the curtains, it's either it's quite private,
Yeah.
you
Mm.
know. And he goes, "Oh, look, we've had the results, and I've mentioned it before, but we've had the results, but I'm afraid it's a brain tumor."
Wow.
And that was it. It
Mm.
wasn't like, okay, well, this is severe. We don't know what we're going to do. It was like, okay, this is what it is. I said, awesome. Now I know how to solve it. Thank you very much. And that's awesome. And then he said, okay, so the next step is from here, you go to the Gold Coast University Hospital. You're going to the brain tumor floor, the clinic floor, where there's a load of specialists and doctors, and you're going to go there, you're going to be fine, you're going to be looked after, and you're going now.
Wow.
Right now. I was
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
it wasn't like, okay, well, come back in 2 days. It was bang. right now.
Yeah, that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that was getting, I think that was getting around probably 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Um, my wife's sitting out in the waiting room, kids are at home.
Did they know about this at this point, or they were in the
No,
dark?
no, all in the dark.
Wow.
So after that, how my wife found out, because they went up to my wife and said, "Would you like a coffee? Because we need to tell you something." And that can be a little bit confronting for wives or couples.
Definitely.
It can be
Definitely.
mind blowing. Yeah, yeah. So literally, I didn't even get to say goodbye to my wife. I went straight to. Oh yeah, I did actually. Sorry, I do apologise. I did. She did come in, and she had a bit of a teary face, and which I understood, and quite impacting, right? So
Mm.
yeah, I get shipped off, or transferred to Gold Coast University Hospital. Man, yeah, yeah.
And what did they do there, like in terms of figuring out what to do with this tumor?
Yep. Yeah, well, look, the first night I rock in, it got a little bit later, so I was getting around 8:39. So obviously I missed out on my meal, dinner, things like that. I didn't have a good solid meal, so to speak. So
Mm.
get there, and then I get assessed by a like an intern doctor, which is like the VA for the brain surgeon that I had been assigned to. Um, she had checked me over. She looked at my tongue, looked at my pupils, if I could stand, if I could walk, so to speak, and just a little bit of a pre-check on me. And she said, "Okay, well, look, we'll be in tomorrow, but you're going to have another MRI tomorrow as well, and more tests, so we can actually." Um, and then my specialist had come in the next day, so to speak, and it got a little bit deeper on the results and the vision, so to speak. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Wow. Like
yeah.
that is insane. Like just in a matter of like obviously you had your symptoms prior to it, but in a matter
Mm.
of 5 hours you have been diagnosed with this tumor and you're already in different hospitals and trying to figure out what to do with it.
That's
Now,
right.
wow.
That's right, mate. And my and can I say that the nurses, um, they need to be given more credit. They're just such lovely,
Mm.
beautiful human beings, and all they want to do is help. It's just amazing. And so just for example, or not for example, but what I had for dinner that night was it was interesting. I had rice bubbles with what did I do? I had rice bubbles with with peaches and toast or something because I missed dinner.
Yeah.
Uh, and but I just went with the flow. I wasn't
Mm.
I wasn't stressed. At that time, right? But I wasn't stressed. I wasn't like, okay, look, this is just a holiday for me. I'll go back to work soon. Um,
So it hadn't really sunken in what was going to
no,
happen.
no way. Like, it
Mm.
didn't even hit me. It just like I think it impacted more other people than myself.
Definitely.
And I'm like it's like the Vietnam veterans. Like they're in the war zone
Yeah.
and
Mm.
they don't know what's going on around them.
Mm.
And they come back and they hear people saying, "Wow, you're in the war zone. You're like literally in the middle of it." And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean? We just had to do what we had to do."
Mm.
So that was for me. I had to. I was in the middle of it. Yeah, in the eye of the tornado. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
obviously you had a major battle over the.
Mm.
So how many years did you have the tumor?
I They didn't know how long I had the tumor for. It could have been most of my lifetime,
Wow.
but it was fast. growing. It could have disappeared in the last, prior to diagnosis, so because it was quite quick growing, so it could have been 6 months before being diagnosed. But it had taken it's 4 years now since.
Diagnosis.
Yeah. So it's been an interesting road, interesting bumpy journey,
Hmm.
but it's been good. It's been good.
And so, what would have been the hardest step along the way, do
Hmm.
you think?
Hmm.
Was it the physical side of the pain, the actual physical pain, the chemo, the surgery,
Yeah,
or even or learning to do, like I remember we were talking before, you learnt to walk and talk again?
that's right, man. That's right.
Or also with the mental, like obviously this is such a massive
Mm, mm,
hit on your own mental health because
mm.
you are seeing your own mortality right in front of your face.
I am.
So what for you was the biggest thing, that like the biggest hurdle you had to overcome?
Very good question. And I have so much.
Hmm.
I have so much. It's just not just one thing. It was multiple.
Hmm.
And you're right, Ryan. I learned to walk again. Um, write. I had to learn how to write again, and literally read a clock and read
Wow.
things. And so it took me longer than anticipated. And some of the specialists that I was working with, some nurses were a little bit impatient. I can
Hmm.
understand that, get tired and things like that. But so I had to learn how to adapt to my new surroundings. I had to go with the flow. I had to not react to the situation that I was in to my best of my ability. Even though what was going on the outside, finances, um, look, I wasn't even aware that my career had been smashed. Literally,
Hmm.
a dream job that I love to, truly proud of, to get my backpack and get on that plane and fly in the middle of nowhere and jump off and feel like a true specialist in my field, which is in high demand sort of role of a job and a high income earner too. So
Yeah.
when that was all taken away from me, um, later down the track, that's what I had to deal with. Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah. So just bear with me for a second.
That's good.
Sorry, Ryan.
That's all good.
Um, so yeah, it was medication. I was put on steroids, liquid and tablet form. And the reason for the steroids was to reduce the swelling that was in my brain from the tumor, um, and the multiple headaches that I was having, um, as well. So, uh, coming from Rabina, I was on a liquid form injections, like an automatic injection sort of thing of steroids, and they had run out. So the next morning, I had woken up in severe pain and literally to the point where I was like, well, I'm in so much pain and I can't eat. Bang, I'm in the fetal position again. And the doctor is literally checking my pupils saying, Luke, Luke, Luke. And she just gave me this massive injection into my thigh, um,
Wow.
like a cattle, like
Hmm.
some sort of cow that's just been resurrected from the dead.
Wow.
Um, Literally, bang, and it's like, oh my god, and it hurt. Have you ever had a needle in your thigh, like in your leg?
I've almost had to do it with like an epileptic because I have a
Oh,
EpiPen.
oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
and I almost had
yeah.
to use it, but I've just pretty much tried pushing off because that just seems
Oh,
horrific.
mate, it
It
is painful. It
it's
is extremely painful. Um, it's sort of one of the muscles that feels so much pain. And yeah, and that's what she did, and it just like it got me out of bed, but it's like, oh my God, that hurt. Yeah, man. So and dealing what was going on around me, because I had a lot of people truly just blown out of the water with the because I put a post up on Facebook about um the my discovery and where I'm at, and I'm a bit of a sarcastic sort of guy. I have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
So some people thought that I was joking. And it's okay. I didn't take
Yeah.
offense by it, but I was like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. Um, and then I just got bombarded with interview requests, or not just people who wanted to come in and see me. So literally, I had my iPad, and I was literally had a calendar of when people could come in and see me.
Wow.
I was just truly blown away from from the love and the gratitude from people, my friends and family, who wanted to come in and to support. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. That's
Mm.
so you didn't feel like you were on your own through this journey.
No, not at the start. No, and no, no, definitely not. No, you know, you do have did have my moments. When yeah, down the track, but yeah, yeah, no, it's truly blessed. Yeah.
So when you so obviously Daniel, you went through hell and high water with especially
Mm,
learning to do things,
mm,
and especially with the impact on your brain. Was there any like obviously you didn't know how to learn or talk or read a
mm,
clock, but was there
mm.
anything like in terms of did people come up and you just did not know who they were and you had to almost rebuild relationships? Is that part of your brain was affected as well?
Yeah, the relationship side was pretty good. It was more of processing information. So if
Mm.
someone said to me, "Hey, Luke, I've like after when I got out of my first surgery, I started noticing that I couldn't process information as sharp as I could, and I couldn't remember things as well as I could have or should have, you know. So someone will say, "Hey, look, I've sent you this email. I've got 8 bullet points in that email, and this is what this is. Boom, 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 boom." And I'd just be like a dead fish. I
Wow.
couldn't process it, so I'd just say, "Can you just email it to me?" And then so I started to feel like I was a little bit disabled,
Mm.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I couldn't drive, wasn't allowed to drive medically, um, and I couldn't process things as
Mm.
well as I have was or has, as I, in the past. Yeah, so it's totally shocking.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
wow. Just
Mm.
not being able to like and
Yeah.
post your do you feel like you've obviously there's been an impact on you
Mm.
since the surgery, and the surgery is always going to have a lasting effect on you somewhat,
Mm. Mm.
but do you feel like that your brain has like that process of your processing of information has improved from it, or is it still do you still sort of wake up some days and be like, this is definitely not what it used to be like?
Yeah, that's such a really good question, Ryan, because I do get those moments. I do get those why me,
Hmm.
and for those who knew me beforehand, I had a full head of hair, like
Hmm.
you, Ryan, beforehand. Not that long,
Yeah. No.
not but I had hair. I was quite quite proud of my hair. So that affects me. I've got to sort of shave my head now, and because of the treatments and the radiation, it just literally killed all my hair, um, and sort of long term effect. My body and my mind is better now this year.
Hmm.
This year alone is much better because I'm walking a lot. I'm working. I'm using my brain a lot more now. Um, but yeah, I do get a little bit of side effects with my feet and my legs because I had neuropathy in my legs, where all the nerve endings were damaged by the chemotherapy.
Mm.
So yeah, I do often get that, but not a lot now because I make sure I do yoga and stretch and look after my body now. So yeah, yeah.
So, how long, how much would you say on the journey of like overcoming this tremendous
Mm.
feat? Would you say that was pushed on by your like people around you, and it was all like the doctors and stuff that helped you recover, versus how much did it take from you to sort of actually get up and you had to go and you had to do, let's say you had to run every single day, or you had to eat the right diet, or do that sort of thing, go to the physio, or how much was it just reliant on overcoming with the doctors?
It was heavily because after the first surgery, it was multiple checkups with specialists, MRI appointments, mental health, not mental health plan, but multiple checkups in regards to how I was processing information, and learning how to adapt into a new environment where I wasn't working 80 hours a week, where I was literally working none at all.
Mm.
So that was a total flip of the coin, so to speak. So knowing that my friends and good buddies that are still out there working, and they still are today, I'm not there,
Yeah.
and it's quite mind blowing to process that. Yeah, um, and working with my insurance companies, and so I can get some money coming in
Mm.
to have income protection and things like that, so I could have and still feed myself and feed my family and have a bit of a lifestyle during this recovery process. Yeah.
Mm. So what was one of the big motivators for you, or what were the motivators for you for going through it? Because obviously it's a dark tunnel, and
Yeah.
there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but sometimes it's probably not easy to see. So what was the things that kept you pushing through it, and what kept you going?
Oh yeah, well look, when I was given the news of this is brain cancer, my son had been just literally, he was only 9 months old,
Wow.
11 months old, right? So as I was getting this news delivered to me, I looked to my right, and my beautiful wife comes in with our son, and my doctor looks me straight in the eyes and says, "This is the news, Luke. It's cancerous, and look, from here you're going to go straight up to we're going to get in touch with our specialists, and you're going to go to another hospital where you're going to have your radiation and your chemo." Prior to that, as all this information was getting delivered to me, and I looked to my right, as I said, and my son's just kicking his feet on the pram, just literally having a ball. And I thought, it's not my time. This is not my time. Don't close the curtains on me right now. I was only 34 at the time, and I'm thinking, my family needs me right now. Everyone needs me right now. This is not going to end me. No way. No way. And so that was one of my drive and one of my motivators to push through it and discover the flow. But what really kept me going every day to the best of what I could do is just be active, read, walk, um, and just sort of do my best. I did have some really flat days, and some, I had nearly had a suicidal attempt as well.
Wow.
Um, but um, I sort of had to, change the inner circle that I was with as well. Some of the people that I was hanging out with, sort of they got affected by my story. Then I had to sort of just move on. I had to sort of push away and rediscover some new people, like-minded people to hang out with, and I've connected and collaborated with some beautiful people now, and it's changed my world. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
So, touch base on sort of what you said with obviously like
Mm.
it's dealing with like the idea of suicide
Yeah.
and what I don't how did you overcome that sort of uh,
Yeah.
that feeling, that mindset? Was it a simply just, oh, this diagnosis has improved a lot, that, or was it the people around you, or did you change your outlook, or what pushed you through it?
Sure. It was purely I made a phone call. I made a few phone calls, and I understand that people were busy, and you often hear when you hear someone who's committed suicide or is thinking of it, sometimes they won't shout out. They won't actually want to bother other people because they know that one, it can be a form of weakness, that they've got something going on in their life. Two, can be a little bit of pride. And three, it's like, well, okay, it's all just about me. I don't want to drag people into my sort of itty bitty shitty committee, so to speak. So I didn't want to follow that road. So I had received a letter. It was quite confronting, and then it just hit me. It just boom went off. I not that I went off, but it just affected me so much, where I didn't know what to do. Didn't know I was on my own. Um, I was in a park. It was in a beautiful area, but I was in a park. I just got the letter, put the letter in my car, closed the hood of my car, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm just processing what's going on. I'm hyperventilating, going crazy. And I made a couple of phone calls, and one phone call, a good friend of mine, he works with war veterans, helping them to re-identify themselves, and actually gain employment and re-educate. And so he has solid experience with that background, and he understood, look, what situation I was in, and I'm truly grateful that he actually answered the call. Uh, and I think I hinted it that I wasn't doing well, and I'm sort of thinking, it's a funny call. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm thinking about committing suicide right now. I'm going down to Bunnings. I'm going to get a 12 mil rope and do something." But it was it was like a distressing call. Like your body and your mind isn't thinking properly. You're out of whack. So he literally reassured me that everything was okay, but he also said, "Look, I'll come down there right now. Are you okay? Is everything all right?" And then when I heard that, it made me sort of relax a little bit, because I knew that one, I wasn't on my own still, and I had that support. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So, in a bit of a nutshell, yeah, yeah.
So one of the things that kept you going was
Mm.
having just knowing that there was always someone, even when you were on your own, that there was someone there who cared for you, who was always there. And so, would you say for people who are struggling for that, is to say that there are people out there that definitely care for you, even though you can't see it right now?
Yes, very true. And what I said before, I strongly suggest is that reach out, reach out and say, I need help, or don't be too proud. Don't let your pride get in your way. I truly believe that, because sometimes I've had a couple of friends commit suicide, and
Wow.
I've often wondered, it's like, why didn't he just reach out and to say, hey, Luke, I'm having a pretty bad sort of month, or a day, or a week. I need help. I need help. And it gets back to that message is are you okay? Or, you could probably put it down to is how you doing? Is everything okay? Go a little bit deeper with someone that you are good friends with or work colleague. Yeah, reach out and call Lifeline or call Beyond Blue and get some help. You know, yeah, I strongly suggest it.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's that's a very major thing to try and
it
deal with
is.
at the same
It
time.
is. It is.
So, when you sort of were finishing sort of your cancer, or when you were finally, it was gone, you were cancer free.
Yep,
What did you plan to sort of do? Because you are into motivational speaking now,
that's right.
and
Yeah.
how did you get from? Did you try getting back into the mining industry, or do you like? No, I have a story to tell, and I wanted to tell it. What was your sort of thinking then?
Yeah, well, see, the radiation side of things before that happened before my chemotherapy. So my oncologist said to me, Dan, he says, he looked me in the eyes and said, Luke, you can't go back into your mining game anymore. It's you can't do it. It was literally just flat, um, straight to my face. And at that time, I was like, yeah, no worries, cool. That's awesome. I'm sort of over it anyway.
Hmm.
But I wasn't really aware of the decision or what was being delivered to me at that time. So I went with the flow and then had my chemo, 4 months of chemo after the 30 rounds of radiation. And the chemo just literally blew up my body, just literally best weight loss program in the world, I believe. And you know, that's you gotta laugh at it, because I know, yeah, look, shit does happen, but we've got to look at the positive side of things, no matter what it might be. And it was my mindset, and that's how I got through it. Was like, okay, this is what's happening to me, but okay, what's the good in this, and how can I help myself, and how can I help the people that I'm surrounded in the chemotherapy ward get through their day as well, because they were on their own journey, right? They had their own issues, um, health, walking and talking and eating properly. Like when you have chemotherapy, your body is just messed up. Um, so getting back to being told that I can't go back into the mining game, it didn't really hit me and sort of take into progression that, okay, where am I going now? What's my future? So I just started doing personal development events and landmark and other personal development events that I invested in, and just worked on my mindset and my health and getting back and sort of just bouncing back. That's what it was, and changing some friends as well.
So was
Good
it?
and bad.
So was a major part of you getting into this thing wasn't necessarily how you felt during your cancer
Mm,
journey, but when you, because obviously you said you were dealing with other people who were also going
yeah,
through it, and
yeah.
seeing like how they were, and you thought, well, I know I can help them push through this.
That's exactly right, because the whole time that I was going through it, I was aware what was happening around me. There was people that were passing away. There
Mm.
were people that part of that family that someone that had passed away and were deeply impacted by what had just happened, or the news that they had been delivered with, and how it was going to impact them and their family, right?
Mm.
So it really dawned on me when a good friend of mine said, "Hey, let's write a book about your true story." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't think so."
Mm.
I turned it down because it was quite raw. Like my book. Um, I have another book in line, but it's going to be more detailed, more story based, and so it's quite the 12 months or the 9 months that I was in hospital, which is mind blowing. So for someone to come up to me and say, "Hey, your story is so impacting, so inspiring," and the messages that I did get was like, "Wow, you're a true inspiration, Luke." This is during the process of chemo and radiation and the
Mm.
surgeries. But at that time I was like, well, I'm just a normal guy.
Mm.
I'm just a normal guy, just getting over a bit of a bug. Um, and then I had written a book and it had become a bestseller. That's when it really started, I suppose, dawn on me that I do have a inspirational message
So
that I want to.
the book came first before you actually went out and started talking about your story.
That's right. That's
Mm.
right. Yeah, Ryan. Yeah. So the book came out. Didn't really do too much with it for a while. Then I come to the conclusion that everyone needs to hear it.
Wow.
Everyone needs to hear it because the people that I talk with prior to making that decision is that they are just truly blown away, tears in their face, and the emails that I get is like, wow, you just blowing my world. Um, I'm going to make sure that I'm actually going to live a life on purpose now. So yeah, I'm just truly grateful to have those opportunities now where I can just share my story and with the world and just impact my audience with my true story. Yeah,
And what was
yeah,
and so what's your book called? And
yeah.
um,
Sure. It's titled Gambaroo
mhm.
Mindsets. You can look it up on YouTube,
I'll have the link to
Google.
it down
Yeah,
below.
cool. Yeah,
Or
cool. So,
if you're listening to this, go
yep,
to um, my YouTube at Ryan Osiris,
cool.
and you'll be able to find it there. But yeah, so go continue with your.
Yeah, man. So yeah, Gambaroo mindset. It's all about mindset. But what Gambaroo means is if you look back at the earthquakes, I think it was in 2010 in Japan, the tsunami um, and they had the philosophy of actually of never giving up. Gambaru purely means breaking through barriers in life, no matter what comes up, with tenacity, with a tenacity mindset of, okay, this might be a little bit interesting. This curveball that's coming my way at the moment, what's the positive out of this negative? And let's break through it. So
Mm.
that's what it truly means. And that's where I share my message and my story with my audience to say, okay, well, you're having a bit of a shitty life or you're having a bit of a bad year. Let's look at the positive out of that negative and let's just keep going
Mm.
because things can always get worse. And when I work with my clients and they say to me, well, I look and they say, oh, look, I'm really having a bad year. I say, well, are you really? Can you walk? Can you talk? Can you speak? Can you drive? Do you have money in the bank? Yeah, I do. Yeah. I said, well, come on, wake up. Wake up. So that's what I share. And that's in my book. That's what I share with Gambaroo Mindset. Yeah, yeah.
Just to always push for more. Always push
Oh,
yourself to.
yeah. Yeah, have that drive in
Mm.
life where, life is a gift. It really is because, and we shouldn't take it for granted. No matter what situation we're in, even if we're in a shitty relationship or we just hate our job, we all have the opportunity and the responsibility to make the decision to change. If we're not happy, just change. If
Mm.
you're not, if you want better health, better wealth, change it in here, change it in your mindset because in here, this is where it all happens. Yeah.
And so, do you think you were? Do you think you, the person you are now?
Mm.
do you think you would have been gotten to this point if you had not gone through what you'd been? So without going through the cancer and the struggles and the hurdles and that, do you think you would have eventually come to this sort of little bit more enlightenment about how you deal with life and how you push through? Do you think you would have actually got to this point, or?
I reckon no. I reckon I'd still be in the mining game. I'd still be working, catching planes, flying in and out, doing 80 hours a week, um, and working away from a family. So, because, once you get into that industry and you get known, like I was, you're in high demand. You be on projects 6, 7 months, 12 months, and then boom, onto another project. So, to be honest with you, no, I reckon I'll still be out there doing it. So this is purely uh, a situation, a health journey that has just flipped my world upside down. Um, I get back to, we've got to be careful what we wish for, because what we think about, we bring about, and it does happen. Look at my story. That's really, really how impacting it can be, and how honest and truthful it can be as well. But no, it's I'm here now. I'm here to do this this part, so to speak, and wherever the rabbit hole will go, I'm happy to flow. Yeah.
And obviously, I can see in the back there you did a lot of fighting, or like a lot of martial arts.
Yeah, I did. A lot of tournaments, and inspiring, and Queensland titles. And I do have my mentor up there, or one of my mentors that inspire me, because this is my office, right? So
Yeah.
I fill it with inspirational, motivational, vibrant energy that gets me up and going every day. So yeah, I do. I have multiple trophies and things like that up there, um, and a little bit of a story about these trophies is that um, I had these hidden in a box for probably 10 years. I was too shy and proud to actually show them. So my message there is, don't be afraid to shine. It's okay to be you, because everyone else is taken. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah.
And so what were you fighting in? Was it karate, or was it taekwondo,
Yep.
or was it
Yep.
what were you? What was your like technique? What's the correct term? What was the?
Sure. What was your I suppose field, so to
Yeah.
speak? So, yeah. Look, I started roughly 98, 99, and I started training in mixed martial arts, karate and taekwondo,
MM. Okay.
things like that, and I did that for a while, and had multiple trainers and coaches, and then I did some Filipino work and some weapon work as well, but purely self-defense,
Okay.
and that's really where it does come down to, is the mindset, and just going with the flow and not reacting, because it does teach you that, keeps me calm and keeps me present through martial arts, through karate especially. So it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing.
And how much would you say your martial arts background, would that, especially with learning the discipline, the mindset and stuff like that, was a major contributor to your success or pushing through it and your perseverance?
Yeah, well, there's a thing that we practice in martial arts, and even karate, mostly karate, but some taekwondo and other forms of martial arts, and it's called katas, Kata, and where you can actually practice a form of techniques that you get judged on, and hence the medals and things like, and trophies that I have behind me. But I absolutely love them, and I find that my mission is to actually do them to the best of my ability. So the mindset of actually doing it to the best of my form, and knowing that I'm going to be judged on that, so I have to perform at my peak ability. And I put that in my life as well. Like, I come from a space of integrity, giving back, and just being my best. Yeah, I get my ups and down days, of course, but don't we all?
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, because that, yeah, just like I've known many people who do martial arts and sort of thing, and they had that sort of like it's sort of got this stigma, even where it's like MMA and stuff like that, where it's sort of just like
Yeah.
this, like, oh, we're gonna fight and blah 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 blah. But it's this,
Yeah.
it's more about the self restraint and the self identification of you in the world, rather than the actual how much of an impact you're gonna put on the world.
Exactly, and it's it's not all about getting a black belt and walking out and saying, "Hey, well, I'm a black belt now," and
Mm. Come guys,
don't,
come on, mess with me. Come
yeah,
on,
yeah,
come
yeah,
on, come
yeah.
on.
No, it's the total opposite. It's
Yeah.
it's actually you really don't want to cause any drama, any issues, because you know the side effects of what's going to happen, or
You're a human weapon. No one's gonna stand in your way.
yeah. So I try. I look, I've never had an issue because I always. It's taught me a lot about energy as well. Like, we're all energy, so what aggression and abuse is quite um, attractive to another person. So someone who's really grumpy and shitty or wants to have a fight, the
Mm.
person that's next to them is calm and sweet. They'll get sucked into that energy. Then they'll go, "Oh my god, what? I was just really nice and peaceful just before.
Mm.
Now I want to bash this guy's head in."
Mm.
Um, and it blows me away. So it's taught me to become aware of the issues and the surroundings of my environment, and not sort of respond to those situations. Yeah, yeah,
Mm. Okay. Wow.
yep,
Anyway, so lastly, what advice would you give to someone sort of, let's say someone's my age, so like say 18 to 20,
yep,
who sort of they've they're sort of starting to go down the true sort of path in life, but sort of don't really know
yeah.
not necessarily what to do, but if they have the confidence or the motivation to do it, what advice would you give to them in sort
Yep.
of going down that way?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, cool, man. I always look back over time, and my like where you are now. Like, how old are you, Ryan?
I'm 18.
18.
Yes.
So when I was 18, I was drinking a lot and partying a lot, and
Yeah.
that's totally cool.
Mm.
But I wasn't. Look, when you're 18, you don't really have that vision of, okay, when I'm 38 or something, I'm going to have kids and I'm going to have multiple careers and I need this and I need that. You don't have that vision. So what I would like to suggest is that start working on yourself for the future. Get prepared. Get the vision of what you want in 5, 10 years, or even 2 years. Start gaining some multiple skills, not just one. Jim Rohn talks about having more than one skill because it's gives you more stability for a challenging economy, so to speak. So having more than one skill is highly recommended. Work on yourself, work on your mindset, and start asking for some advice on if you want to grow your life, grow your vision. Start surrounding yourself with like-minded, honest people that are going to get you there, and reach out and just say, this is where I want to go. And you're going to find that some people will hang around, some people won't. Some people, well, in Australia especially, is called the tall poppy syndrome,
Mm.
right? And that's where I've had challenges, right? And I haven't jumped up and say, okay, I'm going to do my best. So my message there is, don't worry about what other people think of you or of where you wanting to go in life, because at the end of the day, we all go to the same place. We either get put in the ground or we get put in a little ashes urn and we get spread out into the sea. We all die and we all have a limited time on this earth. And so you've got to come from a space of integrity. Don't waste your time.
Mm.
Don't waste your time. So yeah, literally, don't waste your time. Don't worry about what other people think of you. It's your world. It's your universe. You have the permission to shine on.
Wow. Yeah.
Mm.
So there's, for lack of a better word, just take the world by the balls. I guess that's the.
Literally, mate, and literally don't really give a flying shit what other people think about you, because they have no right to hold you back or anyone back. You know, not just you, Ryan, but you know, someone like, I look back at myself, also to being open to new ideas, because let's face it, I was a little bit stubborn in, you know, early 18. You know, I was 18. I was like, oh, people suggested me ideas on what to do with my career or my future. And, you know, I was quite on the ballpark of just drinking alcohol every Friday, Saturday night, getting on it and having fun and going back to a dead end job. So life is more precious than that. Life is more rewarding than just having a shitty job, paying the bills. It's a common trend, right? You look back and you look at young families these days, even young teenagers that aren't really aware what their future is going to be like. So there's a common trend where they go to uni, get a job, get a nice job, get married, have kids, stress, bills, challenges, 2, 3 jobs, then retirement, kids go, boom, dead. Or, you know, you've got to live a life on purpose. That's my mission. That's my message.
Live a life with purpose. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Luke, for
Come on.
joining me today. It's been a roller coaster of emotions and learning all the different things just about you and how. And I hope people who are listening to this can take your story and look at themselves and say, like, well, I know someone else who's been going through this, or someone who has cancer, or someone who's dealing with like mental health issues, and how they can just think of different ways just to try and push through and persevere.
Sure. And that's very true. And like, you know, anyone's free to reach out to me as well for guidance, and I'm happy to come from a space of service as well. On my website, order W's gambarumindset.com.au. I do have a mastermind group on Facebook as well, Gambaru Mastermind, and it's pure space of actually supporting and collaborating with like-minded people. You know, with everyone who wants to give a helping hand to let other people shine, and that's what it's all about. So yeah, reach out to me if you're having some challenges, or you're not sure where you're going. Feel free to have a chat. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll have all your links down in my YouTube comments and whatnot to your. So if you want to look, contact Luke, go to his website down below, or if you want to find about his book, down below as well. Yeah, well, thank you very much, Luke, for coming on the show. It's been amazing.
Thank you so much, Ryan. It's I'm true honor and grateful to spend a little bit of time with you today. And yeah, no, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share my story and hang out with you. You're a little bit dressed up more than me today.
Yeah, this is the sort of the style, my little take.
That's awesome.
Usually I wear a hat, but I didn't think it was appropriate. I didn't think when talking about sort of what we're going through is to wear this hat and then nod along to it.
That's all good. You give me a couple of ideas. So I did my hair today, so I was sort of pretty good with that.
Well, anyway, this has been Red Suit interviews, and I hope you guys stay around for the next one.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you, Ryan.